The rotating disco ball was making it look like shooting stars in a dim bedroom. On this special night, Walter had came home with a thing of red roses, chocolates, and a Luther Vandross album for his sweetheart, the love of his life. Ursula was standing in the bathroom at the time, in front of the mirror, slipping on some lingerie, a silky floral lilac spaghetti strap gown that she had gotten from a store that sells women's lingerie called Ladies' Night. Lately, Ursula's been feeling unattractive, feeling like she's bigger than everything in the house. Every time when she stood in front of the mirror, she would see a cow instead of herself. Ursula, baby, what's taking so long in there? The ice is melting over here. You don't want the wine to taste warm and nasty, do you? Says Walter as he was standing by the nightstand, lighting up the last candle. No, I'll be out in a minute, Walter, says Ursula. You better hurry, honey bunch. I already started munching on these chocolates. They sure taste real good, says Walter. Oh, Walter, you already know I'm on a diet. I can't eat that chocolate mess, says Ursula. She had then grabbed for the perfume bottle and sprayed spritz on each side of her neck. But you can't eat strawberries. That's a fruit, right, says Walter. Strawberries minus the whipped cream. The whipped cream is fattening, says Ursula. And after she had said that, Walter had then grabbed for the can of whipped cream and squirted a lot in his mouth while saying, ain't nothing wrong with a little whipped cream. I had promised myself that I'll stick to my diet and eat nothing but salad and glasses of water. I have ended my relationship with Ho-Ho's, Little Debbie's, Doritos, Fritos, Cheetos, Burritos, Krispy Kreme, Jack in the Box, McDonald's, Burger King, says Ursula as she was carrying on. Oh, Ursula, you don't have to put yourself through that strict diet, says Walter. Ursula has dealt with weight issues ever since childhood. She had gone through HE to the double hockey sticks at foster care, abused verbally and sometimes physically because of her heavy weight. She felt all alone when the other kids clowned her in the home, and she'll never forget that slap to the face she had gotten from her foster mother just for eating a single marshmallow that was in the fridge. That slap to the face still haunts her to this very day. She feels absolutely guilty whenever she sinks her teeth in a juicy cheeseburger and in her favorite snack cake. After popping another piece of chocolate in his mouth, Walter had turned around and was instantly mesmerized when he saw Ursula standing there at the bathroom door in the lingerie, asking him what do he think. I think I'm looking at Diana Ross or either Naomi Campbell, says Walter, in a gleeful way while smiling big with his eyes wide open. I look more like a weather girl, says Ursula in a melancholic way. Well, it's raining beautiful women, hallelujah. My oh my, you look so beautiful in that silky piece, says Walter. But what about my weight? Do it look like I shed some pounds off, says Ursula. Yeah, it does, says Walter as he nods. Ursula then sucks her teeth and says, You're lying. I'm over here looking like silky suited cow. I feel so ugly, says Ursula. That's when Walter had got up from where he was and had walked it over to where she was to caress her. While having his arms wrapped around her, he was saying quietly in her ear, What I tell you about that kind of talk. You are beautiful on the outside and on the inside. Oh, Walter, you don't have to keep feeding sugar-coated words to me. I would rather for you to be honest with me. I just want to know if I'm a disgusted fat slob or not, says Ursula while looking downward. You are not a disgusted fat slob. You are the love of my life, and I love you for who you are, Ursula, says Walter. That's when Ursula turns around and faces him, wrapping her arms back around him while saying, You really think I'm beautiful? Yes, you are. And remember that one song that was playing on the radio in the car by Freddie Jackson, says Walter. Mm-hmm. It was on our first date. I'll never forget that day, says Ursula. And after she says that, Walter then had out of nowhere started singing a bit of that song to Ursula in an off-key way. The singing had made Ursula chuckle a bit and smile warmly. So, my dear love, you want to drink a glass of wine with ice together, says Walter. I would love a glass of wine, Walter, says Ursula. He then grabs her hand and walks her over to where the bottle of wine was sitting at. I didn't spend that much on this bottle, so the taste might not be so great, says Walter while opening up the wine with a corkscrew. After pouring him and her a glass of wine, they both had cleaned their glasses together and took a sip of it. The taste of that wine had made Walter's eyebrows raise up. His taste buds were surprised. Wow, this ain't bad for a cheap wine, says Walter. Yeah, it doesn't taste that cheap, says Ursula. This is the best tasted corner store wine I ever had, says Walter. After drinking enough wine, Ursula then had grabbed a bowl of strawberries to feed one to Walter, but he stops her right at her tracks to let her know, sweetheart, did you forget I can't eat those? Oh, silly me, I should have remembered that, says Ursula. And after she said that, Walter had then started feeding her some strawberries. After a while, the strawberry bowl was empty, with only a bit of leaves sitting at the bottom, and the whipped cream can was empty as well. Walter had hopped in on the bed and patted his hand down on the other side for his sweetheart to hop up there with him. Ursula was too scared to get up there, though, 'cause last time the bed had cracked it at the bottom and fell to the floor. "Oh, honey, you don't have to worry about that. The people on the phone had told me that the bottom was built extra sturdy. It's impossible to break this time," says Walter. And after he had said that, Ursula had then hesitantly took some steps closer to the bed with a worried look on her face. She had bit down on her bottom lip and said, "Are you sure, Walter?" "Yes, dear, I am positive. Now will you please get in this bed with me and quit worrying," says Walter. At the same time when Ursula was making her way in the king-sized bed, in the apartment under them, an old man named Vernon Whittle was submerged in a tub, reading the papers with a smoky pipe in his mouth and bubbles all around him. As he was turning to the next page to read, particles from the ceiling was trickling down onto the tile floor. He had glanced at the ceiling and went back to reading as if he wasn't too worried. "Walter, do you hear that?" says Ursula. "Hear what?" says Walter. "Like a crack sound. You don't think it's the bed, do you?" says Ursula. "No, it can't be the bed. I already told you, dear, that this bed will not break," says Walter. "Oh, and maybe it's just the thoughts in my mind or something," says Ursula as she quickly brushes it off. "We're in this bed together and are completely safe," says Walter. "Oh, well then, I will never forget this night, Walter. I love you so much, my little Chico stick," says Ursula as she leans over in his face. "And I love you too, honey bun," says Walter. And as soon as their lips had touched it to kiss, the bed had gave up and cracked it, falling down right through the floor. They landed right in Vernon's bathroom. The big boom sound, along with the cloud of dust particles, had gave Vernon flashbacks when he fought in World War II at a young age. To get around to this place and that place, he usually would have to use his walker, but not on this night. He was out of that tub faster than Carl Lewis, with no kind of towel around him. The newspaper was floating on top of the water. His smoky pipe burnt out and sinked in the bottom of the tub, and Walter and Ursula were still laying in their bed, looking around confused. The end.